Hi, everybody. Good afternoon. How are all of you doing? Good. Great. So it's funny because the last 2 times that I've been in Sacramento, I actually started on my first trip to Sacramento was actually as an advocate. I worked for an advocacy organization complaining about government. Then I went to go work for government and became a reluctant bureaucrat. And then I left government, and then I came back to government again. So this is my second tour of duty back in government at the local level. So a couple of things that I really wanted to talk to you about was really the people, process, and place that we're trying to build in Oakland. Really at the foundation, you could hear in many of the other presentations that we talked about how critical partnerships with local groups and community have become. And for us, they've been absolutely pivotal. We worked with Code for America, we've worked with our local civic technologists, Open Oakland, to really develop and test quickly products, applications, and processes that can improve government. And one of the reasons why I think this has become so pivotal for Oakland is because we are a really, really diverse community. We often talk about citizen experience in sort of civic digital technology. What we're really, really talking about at Oakland is at the community level. Our community, our broader community, and we're actually a particularly diverse community, the most diverse community in the entire country. So it's been actually essential that we not only work within ourselves, but also partner with a lot of these local community groups in order to develop these applications and to include them in testing our processes. We do that by picking specific projects. We've piloted answers.oaklandnet.com. Yes, our domain name is currently vintage, but we'll be moving over shortly, I promise. We're working on the Digital Front Door project, which is reinventing the city website. It's moving it from communicating about departments and organization and talking about services. This in particular is really not just about rebuilding a website for us as a city. It's really about bringing people in to better understand process, better understand analytics. What does it mean to look at data? What does it mean to visualize data? And what does it mean to develop and communicate effective content? And then finally, I think Sid and the folks at 18F have really emphasized this, but really user testing. As government folks, I mean, I often hear, can't we just be like the Apple Store? And I often say to folks that ask me if we could just be like the Apple Store, that as government employees, we have this unique opportunity to address the needs of the broader American public, and in ways that companies can't and won't. So that means that we need to do user testing in a very different way, I think, that they do. And it's really about cultivating and creating and including and being inclusive in the people and bringing in the right people to that testing environment to give us feedback. It's not just sort of testing on the latest iPhone application, it's also testing on the lowest technological application. Lots of us know, I don't know if any of you are using, what kind of computers all of you are using. A lot of us at the government are still on Internet Explorer, believe it or not. I know that I am. And at home, I use a Mac and have Chrome and sort of use a little bit more modern, updated technologies. But that just isn't the reality for government employees. That's also the reality for people that are using libraries primarily for services. That's also the reality for people that are using older phones in order to access government services. And then finally, the place that we're building to do this is the 9th floor of City Hall. We are trying to build an interdepartmental space in order to break down a lot of the silos in government and build out a civic design lab for that to actually happen. So I'll go over this really briefly, what we've learned. Tools, not toys. So we, in the last 4 years, my job was created several years ago. You know, in Oakland, we don't have an innovation office. So a lot of cities have these innovation offices and sort of special groups of people that go on and innovate and change their cities. In Oakland, we've taken a very decentralized approach. purposefully and intentionally, because as Sid alluded to, all of our employees are expected to be designers and innovators. And they are indeed. And so my role was really created to bridge that gap between the rapid pace of technology and the ability to deliver community services. So we've prototyped several applications. The second thing that we learned is people first, then process. It's really about coming from that needs first angle and understanding what our community wants and desires. And then finally, I think as government employees and as a fellow bureaucrat myself, I know that we are reticent to fail, but I really want to encourage all of you to fail early and fail fast. And if we can fail cheap, early, and fast, we'll all be better off for it. Thank you so much.